Good morning. Happy Wednesday, beautiful people. It is time for our NXT post show where we continue to put the T in NXT as part of Women's Wrestling Talk, the number one women's wrestling network on the planet. I am your hostess, the Busy Bee, the queen of the honey pot, the sweetest oos, wrestling with honey here. And I'm so glad to be here with you guys. We're going to get into a lot. Summer is here, which means things are heating up and, we got a heat wave coming, y'all. We're about to get into it right now.
What's up, guys? This is Zoe Stark. You're listening to Women's Wrestling Talk.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the number one women's wrestling network on the planet.
What is up, everybody? Happy Wednesday. We are here another day, another day, another morning, another Wednesday morning, talking all that good wrestling-ish that we love to talk. This is our NXT post show, and of course, you know me. I am your hostess, Wrestling with Honey, for this morning's post show from NXT, and it's getting crazy, guys. Things are working and things are cooking. Things are heating up. The heat is rising. It's blazing. I need to get a fan. I need to get a spray bottle with a fan or something around here because it's just too much. But luckily, I am cooled off with some iced tea, which is pretty appropriate for our NXT post show. And I believe that it will be just me and you guys today. So no worries, and shout outs to the crew over at WWT. Hopefully they're getting some good Z's because, you know, over there it's still pretty early and we're on the East Coast over here. So shout outs to everybody. Shout outs to everybody who's waking up. Make sure you get the crust out your eyes. And if you're here, you are getting ready to talk some NXT stuff with me. And last night was pretty fun. I'm not going to lie. Last night was really, really, really interesting. We started off the show pretty much with Ava keeping security on point and on top of things for the whole show throughout, even though it was quite chaotic. It's been quite chaotic this whole entire past week. And even from the beginning of this week, things are just continuing to get crazy, especially in the realm of NXT. Let's see. We started yesterday with some pretty crazy matches. And this was I would say it was a really good treat for us because we got like 4 matches in one big match, which was our tag team turmoil match. We have here Idris Enofe, Malik Blade versus the Good Brothers versus Legado de Fantasma versus New Catch Republic and Chase U, which was really, really interesting. We started off with New Catch Republic, and they defeated Idris Enofe, Malik Blade via pinfall. It was really, really cool to see this interaction because they were banging. These two duos together in a match was something that I did not know I needed. It was definitely one for the books, and what a good way to kick off the turmoil match. But unfortunately, Enofe suffered a double power bomb, and New Catch Republic went on to the next round of the match, which then led to Legado de Fantasma coming out. And unfortunately for Legado de Fantasma, they distracted the Garza twins. And this was obviously in the favor of New Catch Republic, which I honestly thought who they could have been our winners. They were definitely our potential winners, but not the result that I was expecting. But going into the third part of the match, after Bate got the pinfall from the Tyler driver, let's see, New Catch Republic and Pete Dunne went on to defeat the Good Brothers. And it was just when they're climbing that mountain, hell broke loose even more. Let's see. We had OTM confront the Good Brothers on the ramp, and things got chaotic even from there because the women got involved as well. We had a really nasty cat fight between Meechum and Miss Parker, and that obviously led to some really cool results that we're going to get into a little later. The fourth part of this match was Chase U Chase U was the final tag team to go against the No Quarter Catch crew, and it was quite the scene. I was not expecting Chase U to come out on top, but definitely they have been on the rise to redemption. It seems like they all are finally on the same page, but still no Riley. Still no Riley. So that's a little something that I'm a little concerned about going forward for Chase U. But nevertheless, Chase U did come out on top. They defeated Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne, who I thought personally would have been the winners. But they are now going on to be the number one contenders for the tag team titles versus Nathan Frazer and Axiom coming up for Heat Wave. So congratulations to Chase U, and can't wait to see how their story unfolds. I just feel like we're going in a different direction with Chase U now. I personally am finally at a point where I can kind of care about Chase U. I was a little concerned at first because, you know, the Hale identity crisis with JC Jane and all of that stuff and the distractions and the Ridge Holland, but everybody seems to be on board with it. So I guess I have no choice but to be on board with it. But yeah, so shout outs to Chase U for a big win after a big match. And I'm just so glad that we have a solid tag team division in NXT. It's really refreshing to see. Just months ago, I felt like we were questioning the status of the tag team divisions in some places in WWE, and they seem to be doing fine. They seem to be doing just fine. Shout outs to everybody in the chat. Shout outs to all the viewers. Don't be afraid to say hello, good morning. Share your thoughts with me. Let me know what you guys thought of this match. Who did you guys see coming? Who did you guys think you would see coming out on top? You know, and did it go the way you thought it would? Matt, shout outs. Appreciate you as always. Eric, happy birthday. It is Eric's birthday. Woohoo. Shout outs to you, Eric. We love to see it. Hope you are celebrating in the best of ways. And, you know, we appreciate you joining us for your birthday so early, especially. So thank you and happy birthday to you, my good sir. Let's see. Next here, after this tag team turmoil, we had this banger. I need to see this again. I want to see it again, but I want to see it on a bigger stage in the future. So Sean, book it. But nonetheless, we had Wesley versus Joe Coffey with Wolfgang and Mark Coffey, of course, the known as Gallus. This was pretty much to determine who would be facing Obafemi. Later on, you know, we found out after the match. Of course, Wesley went on to defeat Joe Coffey and pinned him successfully after that nasty cardiac kick. But, you know, we did have we of course would expect an appearance from the North American champion, Mr. Obafemi, who then appeared and told Wesley that he is now going to have a title match for the North American Championship at NXT Heat Wave. So this match is, you want to talk about, like, we've talked about it many times here, even with, you know, Professor and Boss Lady and Sed and everybody. We've talked about many different occasions where there have been times where it's like a David and Goliath. This one is, I would say, takes the cake. This is going to be a true David and Goliath story here. And will Wesley prevail? You know, will he prevail, and can he beat Obafemi? And, you know, does he have that will and determination to complete his mission and return to beat the North American champion and win back the title that he never lost in the first place? He had, remember, if you guys don't, Wesley was injured just a few months ago. He was on the stage in crutches, in pain. He had a very nasty, almost career-threatening injury that could have put him out, but here he is back in the mix and gunning for his North American title that he never lost. So shout outs to Wesley for persevering in such crazy times, in what would be career ending now has turned into some kind of new fire that he has rebuilt in himself to achieve his goal once again. So that was pretty cool to see. And I can't wait to see what this match is going to do for Heat Wave. It's gonna be really good. And Obafemi, I don't know. I mean, I know as Heat Wave gets closer, we're definitely probably gonna make some picks and talk about who we could see coming out of Heat Wave on top and moving forward. But we still have one more week, I believe, because the Heat Wave will be on the 7th, which is the same weekend as Money in the Bank, which should be great. Jeffrey, good to see you. What's up, brother? Good to see you guys. Byron Cutler, thank you for joining us. My Rhea Ripley booking is really catching on. When Rhea Ripley comes back, I don't think she should be champion straight away. I think she should go through adversity and heartbreak. That's interesting. I would definitely pose that as interesting, but unfortunately, it's not relevant to the subject of NXT. But I totally agree that mommy will be coming back for revenge more than anything. So, but that's neither here nor there. Again, we are pretty elated about coming up because this is what I wanted to see. Even there was that triple threat match for the North American title. I prefer to see Wesley and Obafemi one-on-one, and I'm glad I'm getting that. So thank you very much. Moving on from the North American title picture, we had also this match, which, guys, I still have questions. I'm still concerned. I don't know where this Don direction is going anymore, but I guess so. We had the Heritage Cup match between Tony D'Angelo alongside with Luca Crucifino, Adriana Rizzo, and Channing Stacks Lorenzo. He went on to defeat Nate Frazier. And unfortunately, Nathan Frazier could not get the job done in properly acquiring that World Cup. I don't know. I'm not sure where they're going with this match. I feel like they're trying to redirect us somehow when it comes to Nathan Frazier and Axiom as well, being that there's been a little bit of, like, I wouldn't say a power struggle. I would just say some miscommunication between the tag team champions. It's quite different than what I expected. It's quite different from from the place where I expected them to be by now, considering that they defeated the Good Brothers to retain their tag team titles, and ever since then, I feel like they've worked on making us care about this relationship between the tag team champions. But I'm not sure what they're trying to do as far as Nathan Frazier has kind of not been showing the proper attention to his tag team partner and doing things together. Nathan Frazier has kind of been going his own solo route, which kind of doesn't make sense. You're a tag team champion. You need to work with your partner. But nonetheless, this match was still good. This match was a great match. I'm not gonna lie, Tony D, it's wearing off. I'm not sure what's going on, but the fact that they had him retain the World Cup, or the NXT Cup, I just don't know. The Heritage Cup, I'm not feeling it, kind of. Let's see here. Jeffrey says Nathan seems obsessed with the Heritage Cup. Yeah, and I'm not sure why, being that he already has gold. I mean, I understand the history of the NXT Heritage Cup. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to diminish that in any way. But as far as, why go through all this trouble to build these two as a tag team when at first nobody really cared to watch them? Now they're kind of like creating some dissension in the partnership, and it's just like, okay, but what's the point? Or is this to show us that throughout any kind of obstacle, Nathan Frazier and Axiom can get over it and persevere as tag team champions? Maybe there's a bigger picture here that I'm not seeing, but at the moment,
I'm not feeling it.
I'm not gonna lie. But nonetheless, congratulations to the Don of NXT, Tony D, for retaining that World Heritage Cup. As far as who he's gonna defend it, who he's gonna defend it against next, I'm not sure. I'm not sure why this is still a thing. But I think I digress. I think we can move on. I think we could move on. I couldn't find the image for Roxanne and Carmen Petrovic's match, but I have found an image that left me absolutely stunned, which was this image right here. Could this be something that is a bit of foreshadowing for the near future for Miss Lola Vice and Miss Roxanne Perez? But Roxanne Perez had a great showing. She defeated Carmen Petrovic last night as well in one-on-one action, while Lola Vice was a part of the commentary team for the match. And yeah, obviously you knew once Lola was out there, things were going to get a little spicy. Anytime Lola Vice appears, it anytime Lola Vice appears, it things tend to heat up, you know, as you know, do as Latinas do. But Lola Vice completely obliterated Miss Perez with pretty much, I guess, what we would call it a receipt for the backhand that Roxanne pulled on her last week. Lola Vice gave her one back in return. She then leads to this image. She then takes the NXT Women's title and walks out with it. And then she goes to the office of Ava, and she demands a title shot against Roxanne Perez for Heat Wave. Now, I'm not going to lie. The back fist was lit. She ate that up. She totally ate that up. And not for nothing, her look last night, Lola, Miss Thing, I'm not faulting you. You look really, really good with championship gold, girlfriend. And I think something could possibly bode well for Miss Vice coming up in Heat Wave. I mean, you can't have a Heat Wave without a Latina running around with some gold around her waist, not to mention a former MMA fighter and you know, transitioning into a WWE superstar is completely as smoother than I've ever seen anybody do it. Maybe me personally, almost the smoothest. But yeah, this image left me stunned. I couldn't believe that Lola Vice actually walked out with the title. I was like, wait a minute, what is she getting at here? What are we doing here? She's just claiming titles. She's reclaiming the title. It's just pretty crazy. But Roxanne was laid the hell out. As you guys can see, she is in like sleep mode. She is sleep. Poor thing. Jeffrey says Lola with that 305 back fist cut Roxanne down to size. Pretty much. And we know Roxanne has little size to her already. But that just chopped her all the way down. Jeffrey also says, not gonna lie, she looked good with that championship on her shoulders, and I tend to agree. I was just thinking this as well. Where is our mayor? Where is the mayor? Because he should be here, and I'm sure he'd be very proud of me for displaying this image as opposed to any other image of Miss Vice City, because this is the goal for Mr. Mayor and the constituents of Vice City to get Lola that title. And Jeffrey says she's just polishing it up for her, keeping it warm. Yeah, but you know, shortly after that, we saw her go to the office, and she pretty much laid out her challenge and was like, listen, I want this belt and I'm going to get this belt. So give me the match. And Ava totally was with it. So it just seems like things are not going to be going well for Miss Roxanne Perez in the future. She's got quite a problem on her hands. I mean, of course, when you're the NXT Women's Champion, you always have a target on your back. So you got to be careful. You got to be on your P's and Q's. And you got to make sure that you're ahead of your opponent. And this time, Miss Lola Vice City was way ahead, a few steps ahead of Miss Roxanne Perez. But shout outs to Roxanne Perez and Carmen Petrovic for a great match. I feel like that it's definitely not over yet between those two. Carmen will have some kind of redemption later on. But right now, Roxanne needs to focus on this woman right here, because this so far, besides Jordan Grace, is one of her biggest threats for this title. Moving on from Miss Vice, we had this match. We had Tavion Heights versus Damon Kemp from No Quarter Catch Crew. And the stipulations basically were Tavion Heights needs to win and he can be a part of the group. Mr. Miles Bourne and Charlie Dempsey's been on some other ish, like he's been on some other kind of wave and energy and aura that I'm not too keen with, but I understand it. He's, taking his notes from the Don and trying to recreate a new faction, probably to take down the family, the D'Angelo family, and possibly get back that Heritage Cup. If there's anybody who could take that Heritage Cup away from the Don, it would have to be this group. I think it should be. But nevertheless, Tavion Heights is now a member of the No Quarter Catch crew, and we now have a new member. Tavion Heights actually took to tribute another fellow Olympian with his finisher, with a spinning belly to belly suplex. It was very, very Kurt Angle, which I loved. So now he's the new member of a No Quarter Catch crew. And Damon Kemp, so far, it doesn't bode well for him, being that he lost. I wonder what that's going to say. I wonder what that's going to do later on for No Quarter Catch crew, and what Charlie Dempsey is going to decide to do with him, as far as now that because he lost, is he out of the group, or are they going to keep them all together and form a stronger faction? Remains to be seen. Jeffrey says Damon Kemp is going to get kicked out of the group soon. I have a slight feeling. Charlie looks so much like his father in that picture, it's crazy. Yeah. So super William Regal Jr., and I'm so here for it. But this match was actually really, really good. It was really technical. I actually did enjoy this match. I feel like we could see a lot of good potential growth for Tavion Heights joining the No Quarter Catch crew. I feel like No Quarter Catch crew should be a little forgiving of Damon Kemp, but remains to be seen. Like I said, let's see what we got next. Yes. Absolutely yes. This match, I need this one again. For it just to be on a regular Tuesday, man. I love everybody knows, if you've been watching the show for the last few weeks since we've been doing it, I am a very avid supporter of Miss Arianna Grace. I love the gimmick, love everything about her, love the persona, love her promos, love it. And Sol Ruca has grown on me very, very much as well. It's just really hard to pick between two polar opposite but favorites of mine. Sol Ruca just has that, she just has that, I would say, that fire about her. And she just has this really, really good ability to just put on a show-stopping performance. I mean, obviously she was a huge highlight in the NXT Women's North American Championship ladder match that just happened, but she just continues to storm through a lot of these women. And, we cannot forget the fact that she was number one in the combine. She was number one in that combine. So it's only right for her to continue to snatch these souls out here in NXT. Unfortunately, my girl Arianna Grace did not get the job done, and she fell a little short this week against Sol Ruca, and took the pin. Let's see. Too bad Gigi got hurt. That story with Arianna Grace was so interesting. I know. I wanted to see that makeover so bad. But unfortunately Gigi's out with injury, and we gotta be patient. Gotta see Sol. Jeffrey says we gotta see Sol and Randy as mixed tag team in the future. Yeah. RKO mixed with a soul snatcher. That's pretty disgusting. I like the way you think, sir. I really do. And shortly after that, after this match, that was when Roxanne Perez stormed into the locker room to Ava and told her about Lola Vice coming after her and all that stuff. And Ava said that she will be defending her title against Lola at Heatwave. Deal with it. Also, after this segment, after this match as well, we had Fallon Henley, JC Jane, and Jasmine Nix have a really interesting moment about, being overlooked and not having an opportunity or getting an equal opportunity for the title. So, which we know what that leads to later on. But let's talk about the next match. But shout outs to both of these women. They put on an amazing performance, but I do want to run this back. I definitely want them to run this back. This was good. Shawn Spears versus NXT's champion, Trick Williams. Now, this was a surprise. I'm still not sure how I feel about the result of this match, but I mean, it's not like I'm mad at it, but it's like, really? It gave me one of those, really? It was just really interesting to me that they had Trick Williams and take the pinfall from Shawn Spears. Ethan Page was on commentary during this match as well. Obviously, he's trying to keep an eye on that NXT championship and make sure that, nobody else gets an opportunity before he does, even though this wasn't necessarily a title match either. But Ethan Page had some problems of his own. He was walking around. He was walking around pretty much talking a lot of ish with Ava, because he is all ego. And he then came for commentary on this match. And he actually got some comeuppance. He got some comeuppance in order of by way of Aura Mensa from Metaphor. He came out pretty much just throwing all kinds of hands. There was a lot of chaos during this match as well. There were security guards trying to separate those two. And then as this match was still going on, mind you, this is all happening while the match was going on. Brooks Jensen appears from the crowd and apparently is trying to get at Vic Joseph. He was trying to break the table, the commentary table, and pretty much just caused a lot of distractions during the match, which then led to him taking the top off the commentary table and whacking Trick Williams in the head with it. Don't know if it was intentional, don't know if it was an accident, out of rage, but Brooks Jensen is about to have a lot of problems. And Jeffrey says, damn you, Brooks Jensen, how long are they not going to acknowledge it? Did you talk about Metaphor segment? I did not yet, and I have that saved specifically for last. Jeffrey also says he threw Vic's candy at Vic. Yeah, that was kind of disrespectful. I'm not sure what Vic did, but for the last couple of weeks, we have seen somebody trying to pretty much interrupt the broadcast of NXT, or so we thought. And it turns out, that it was Brooks Jensen. Brooks Jensen was just recently released from WWE or from NXT. And it seems like he has something he wants to do or say, or he's just really angry. I'm not sure where they're gonna go with that. I never really saw it for Brooks Jensen, but maybe there's something interesting there that we're not seeing or that I'm not seeing. And yeah, all of that. Brooks Jensen basically was the reason why Trick Williams lost last night. I'm definitely gonna say that Brooks Jensen is gonna have a lot on his plate, only because you costed the NXT champion a match, and which cost Shawn Spears to defeat him. So technically, maybe Shawn Spears can do something like maybe take Brooks Jensen under his wing. Considering that he wants to help the younger talent, so he says, by bringing out their true selves in the ring. And maybe this is the true self of Brooks Jensen. He was talking about he needed to make an impact, and he kind of has been every week, being this hooded figure that's coming out and trying to attack Vic Joseph on TV while he's commentating, coming from the audience. Last week, we saw somebody in the audience getting stopped by security. We couldn't really quite see the face. And then today we definitely got today, well, the last night we definitely got a glimpse of who it actually really was. I was worried that at first I wasn't sure if this was like a work or a thing, or if it was just like if it was real, if somebody was actually like there. But I'm like, there's no way this can happen 2 weeks in a row and they don't have the proper security to take care of it. So this obviously is part of a storyline bigger that's going on with Brooks Jensen. He got arrested last week, which is really listen, I'm not sure where they're going with this, if they're trying to maybe give Brooks Jensen that bad boy persona or something like that, but I feel like there's something cooking. There's something we're not seeing. Booker T, Jeffrey says Booker T was legit pissed off. Yeah, it would seem so. And the first time this happened, it made me wonder. I was like, why is this happening? And Booker T seemed really pissed, especially the first time. But listen, WWE needs to beef up their security, and they're not doing a good job at all. So I'm not sure what their next step for protocol would be, but they need to up the ante a little bit. But going into the match, this match particularly, I'm not sure if I agree with the pin on Trick Williams. And you guys let me know what you guys think in the chat. I'm not trying to diminish Shawn Spears' ability at all. He is an NXT legend. And he's very renowned as a wrestler. But I'm just saying, if this is that whoop that era, and you got Shawn Spears, formerly known as the Perfect 10, Ty Dillinger, beating the NXT champion clean. Well, maybe not necessarily clean. There was distractions, but still, he got the pin on him. And that poses a threat to Trick Williams' championship reign, I believe. Because Shawn Spears ain't no scrub. But I'm not sure if I agreed with it. Me personally. You guys let me know what you think. I was actually pretty surprised. I was actually pretty surprised at this. I was like it made me do one of these faces, like, really? I'm not sure if I like that. But hey. And you know what? This is gonna with this match alone, this is gonna cause a lot more to cook up by the time Heat Wave comes along, because like Jeffrey says here, that's probably why Ava made it a fatal 4-way. So this is about to get crazy, and things heat up as the Heat Waves get closer. Let's see. But I guess congratulations to Shawn Spears for the win on the NXT champion. Could that be a taste of things to come going forward? Not sure. I hope not. I really like this whoop that era. I really want more for the whoop that era. So Trick Willie, stay on top of your game, man. Stay on top of your game. Now we covered the matches. These are just some interesting side points that I wanted to add. Stevie Turner and Robert Stone pretty much have had throughout the evening had a very interesting interaction, and was pretty much about like in competition with who could be doing a better job at assisting Ava, the general manager in NXT. And while they were debating, I guess later on they decided, you know what, let's just both go for it. And they both gave her a piece. They both have been giving Ava some advice and some notable things about what's going on and what they think should be happening for the matches. Not sure how Stevie Turner got involved with this, but this is really cool. And Robert Stone. I am not gonna lie, I like this positioning for Robert Stone as well, as an assistant to the general manager. I kind of like where this is going. It bodes definitely an interesting conversation. Trying to be Stevie and Robert trying to be assistants to the assistant to the GM. Yeah, that's pretty much what was going on. But towards the end of that, as you mentioned, Jeffrey, Ava had spoken with both of them and told them that the NXT title now will match for a heat wave will now be a fatal 4-way, and that's pretty much how they ended the show last night. So the fatal 4-way, hold on, let me see. Fatal 4-way heat wave 2024 heat wave. There we go. Sorry guys, just want to make sure I get the right peoples. So I'm sure that's going to be Brooks Jensen, Trick Williams, Brooks Jensen, Trick Williams, Ethan Page, Shawn Spears, and Javon Evans. Is that what we're doing? The young OG? I mean, that sounds like a pretty nasty fatal 4-way, but it's a lot on Trick Williams' plate. As Jeffrey says here, Trick's title is in jeopardy. I do believe so. I don't want to believe it's over. That's for sure. I definitely don't want to believe that it's over. Yeah. So yeah, they pretty much made the match a fatal 4-way. It's going to be Trick, Javon Evans, Ethan Page, Shawn Spears. That's kind of interesting. I like that. And for the NXT Championship, I think this is just more to this is just more work for Trick to handle, and to be able to put himself back on top of that mountain, and to remind everybody that this is the Trick Willie era, not Brooks Jensen. Sorry, excuse me, my fault. It's Trick Williams, Javon Evans, Ethan Page, and Shawn Spears. So that's gonna be pretty crazy, considering that Trick Williams has not really a problem with every single one, but he has a relationship, some kind of form of relationship with each and every one of these individuals. The interesting part is, though, what happens when you got Javon Evans in the mix and you were teaming with him? You guys are on pretty cool terms, but when you're in the ring, it's every man for himself. You got to remember that. Every man for himself. So I thought this was a really interesting interaction. It was something that I think we should definitely take note of, and something that we should not overlook going forward. Jeffrey says Javon was looking at the championships all night, and I don't blame him. The young OG is hungry, and we love to see it. We need to see some gold on that young OG. Now, this was heavy. This scene was very heavy. We had a very, very emotionally telling story between the Metaphor group last night, which was really, really heart-wrenching. It was a very emotional scene. I don't think we've seen Metaphor in this kind of a light before. As you can see here, we had Jakar Jackson, Lash Legend, and Ora Mensa FaceTiming Noam Dar, where Noam Dar then explains that his tendon was torn by Ethan Page, and he's going to be out for quite some time. And of course, Metaphor, without their leader, they seem very down in the dumps, and it's just very heavy for Metaphor right now. And this it's a very interesting take. It's very interesting to see them in this kind of way, because we're used to seeing them very not happy-go-lucky, but more bubblier than usual, more and getting in everybody's face, and just being that fun, obnoxious, not fun but obnoxious group. But last night, this wasn't the case. With Noam Dar revealing on FaceTime his injury to the team, Ora Mensa took some time to reflect on his life, and he had said some really emotional and touching things. He said that he never thought he would be here. It seemed like he was just being very grateful for the moment. When he was in Nigeria, he reflected on moving to Switzerland after his father had sadly passed away in a horrific car crash, and it led to him and his brother being put in a foster home. And he said he does not feel at home until he met the Metaphor. and he promised to take down Ethan Page on a journey of vengeance, which we later saw during the evening while Ethan Page was on commentary. Ora Mensah was beating the daylights out of him, or just throwing hands at him. And this seems like this is a slight transition for Metaphor. I can't help but wonder if we are going to be seeing a different Metaphor going forward, if this is going to be a more serious Metaphor and a more no nonsense Metaphor, even dare I say babyface Metaphor, as Jeffrey Reimer says here. This definitely was giving a babyface Metaphor. Again, the story that Ora Mensah had proclaimed on live television, to be able to be that vulnerable and that open on such a national platform, on such a platform, that's not easy to do. And I totally empathize with Metaphor at this point. They've kind of had nothing going for them since they've lost that Heritage Cup. The Lash Legend didn't get the job done for the Women's North American Championship, or they could possibly go for a tag team championship with her and Jakara. Ever since Noam Dar got injured and Ethan Page has come into the scene, this has been really, really tough for Metaphor to bounce back from. And I think that this moment right here, this photo, this moment, you just see how defeated they looked. And I think this moment is going to be the transition of Metaphor and the transformation of Metaphor into a different kind of Metaphor. I think we're going to see them holding their ground and standing their grounds going forward. I feel like they always have. They've always stood in their truths and stood in themselves, because they, as much as I wasn't very high on them as a team, they have grown on me, especially after the last couple of weeks. But this scene right here, I feel like this was something that we needed to bring to light, because it's very important to remember that a lot of these wrestlers are human too, and they have feelings just like us. And I think this is a way of helping, fans like me who weren't really high on Metaphor to care about Metaphor in a different way, and to be able to see their growth in what they do and pursue going forward. But something needs to be done. Something needs to be done for the Metaphor. They need to figure it out. And unfortunately, Noam Dar, their leader, is not going to be around for a while. So it's just the three of them, and they need to figure something out. And it just seems like, just from looking at their faces here, just seems like they're really, really fed up. Really, really fed up. And Ora Mensah, we obviously know he was pretty fed up, seeing the way that he handled Ethan Page last night. And rightfully so. Jeffrey says we got two real emotional moments with Oro Taylor and Taylor Rotunda. Yes, we did. It's been quite an emotional week in wrestling. I feel like we're going to be granted a lot of those this week. There's seems to be a pattern going on. Last week was chaotic. This week is emotional. So let's just see going forward what happens with Metaphor and how they bounce back from this. Jeffrey says, why was my girl holding the phone for that long? You couldn't give her a tripod or a selfie stick. Yeah, but it's her thing. Hey, cousin Ron, what's up? How are you today, cousin Ron? Thank you for coming on into the post show. We are just almost about to wrap it up, but we were just talking about all the fun events that happened last night. What's up, WWT and fam in the chats? Yes, absolutely. Appreciate the energy as always. But in the meantime, before we wrap it up, why don't you guys get a wrap up on some merch?
Hey, yo, you. Yeah, you that's watching this. You sitting on the couch staring at the screen, not knowing what you want to do, like this is an online college. Are you tired of wearing shirts that make you look like an extra stuck in catering? Do you want to step your wrestling swag game up to the next level? Then Women's Wrestling Talk has got you covered. Like literally. Are you for life in pink or black and white? Or maybe you're the EST and people need to respect you accordingly. Want to put some pride in your stride and show off the muscle in your hustle? Then make sure you check out the WWT store. Not now, but right now. Alright? What you waiting for? Head to wwtalkpodstore.com and don't make me fight you. Shit.
Don't make her fight you. Go get that merch. Please make sure you check everything out at wwtalkpod.com, where we got all kinds of cool stuff there. So you could, share in the same drip as the crew. Be one of us. You'll love it here, I promise. But yeah, things are heating up. Heat wave will be arriving any day now. It is a week from Sunday. The event is set to take place July 7th, and it will be happening in Toronto, Canada, at the Scotiabank Arena, which is the same weekend as Money in the Bank. So it's going to be a lot to tune into, a lot to watch. And again, the matchups that we have so far on the card for NXT Heat Wave, we got Roxanne Perez versus Lola Vice for the NXT Women's Championship, Oba Femi versus Wes Lee for the NXT North American Championship. We're going to have Kaylani versus Sol Ruka, which is going to be damn good for the NXT Women's North American Championship. Then we also have Chase U versus Nathan Frazier and Axiom for the NXT Tag Team Championships. And as well as we know, when they cut off the broadcast last night, they announced that the NXT Championship match is now a fatal four-way. It's going to be Trick Williams versus the young OG Javon Evans versus All Ego Ethan Page versus the unpredictable Shawn Spears. This is going to be a good event. So I don't know if there's going to be anything else happening, but we got 5 matches on the card, which seems about accurate to what they've been doing for the last couple of PLEs with doing the 5 per event. And also, I forgot to mention, Oba Femi versus Wes Lee has a stipulation. If Oba Femi retains, Wes Lee can never challenge for this title as long as Oba Femi is champion. So the kind of the same situation that we have with Priest and Seth applies here for the NXT North American Championship. So who will we see come out on top? It's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy. I don't know. I don't know. Jeffrey says, can't wait for the reaction to this Taylor and Uncle Howdy later on WWT Live. Oh, trust me, sir. I can't wait either. I cannot wait. I wish it was 6:00 right now, but it's not. Cousin Ron, we do love it here. Appreciate that energy. Jeffrey says, I wouldn't want her to fight me. Yes, please don't make her fight you. Cousin Ron also says that Women's North American Championship match is going to bang. That one is definitely going to be a highlight of the night. I think anything involving Sol Ruka or Kaylani Jordan is going to be a highlight. No offense to the mayor and Vice City, but I'm just saying, okay? But yeah, Heat Wave will be upon us. And I think that's all we have to cover for our NXT post show this morning. If there's any final thoughts that anybody might have for as far as what happened last night with NXT post show, please feel free. I am going to be I'm going to be here a little bit later with the crew. WWT Live. We got our show at 6 p.m. Eastern time, 3 p.m. Pacific time, of course, depending on where you're at. And you guys can always find me here Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays with the crew. Don't forget our post show every Wednesday morning, as well as my SmackDown watch along. If you guys did not get a chance to review the last couple of watch alongs I didn't do one this past week, only because I was celebrating a wedding anniversary, which was quite fun. So I'm back from vacation and I'm here, and you guys have my undivided attention. I appreciate every single one of you guys in the chat. Cousin Ron, Jeffrey, Matt, thank you so much for your energy. Eric, happiest of birthdays to you, Mr. Isaac. We appreciate you. Shout out to everybody in the chat and all the viewers. Shout out to everybody in the comments. Oh yes, Wendy Chu does have a match with Carly Bright next week too. Yes. And thank you for the anniversary wishes. I appreciate it, y'all. You guys be good. Don't forget to find me here, Wrestling with Honey TikTok, Wrestling with Honey Instagram, Wrestling W Honey on Facebook and the YouTube page Wrestling with Honey podcast. I appreciate all of the energy here today. I will see you guys a little bit later. And I guess that's it. Unless I'm missing anything else. Oh yes. Oh my God. One more thing. Yes. How could I forget? Michin and Jada Parker street fight should be fun next week. Yes, that's gonna be really, really good. So we got a lot of stuff to get through before we can even make our official final picks for NXT Heatwave. But again, thank you so much for joining our NXT post show where we continue to put the tea in NXT. I'm your hostess, the Busy Bee, the sweetest deuce, the queen of the honey pot, Wrestling with Honey, signing off here with Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet. Ciao for now, guys.
Thanks for joining WWT. Don't forget to like us on all social media platforms at wwtalkpod. Like and subscribe on all video and audio platforms, like yesterday, my G. And check out our website at wwtalkpod.com. Thanks for watching Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet.